much money into the tech and less into potentially saving it for marketing. So all of these things happened as a 21-year-old. Even the people that were my investors, it's like investors have different, when you take investors into a company, you can get really nice people and you can get some people that aren't so nice. So it's like, you know, whoever offered me money, I took money off them as well for starters, you know, and things like this. So it was a lot of entrepreneurial lessons jam-packed into this concept. And yeah, I'm very grateful about it. You know, I wouldn't be here today without all of that experience.
Thank you. Really, thank you for being so open about it. And I agree, the idea is still good today. Maybe one day, with all the lessons learned, but yeah, thank you for being open, and I appreciate it.
No, thank you so much. Really good, really good. As I said, without that, and this is what every entrepreneur should take if they fail a concept, without your lessons of anything you do not grow. If I did not fail that, I would have not been able to start my shop business. You know, without my shop business, I wouldn't be able to start where I am now. So every little lesson you have as an entrepreneur, use it. Don't take it negatively, and move on.
Beautifully said. James, so how did you end up in the world of gaming?
So this is where it goes back to my first business. So my actual design partners now, and for those of you that have seen CloneX, the brand, and also my trainer shop, you'll see that it's very well branded. I actually met in the office of the company who screwed me when I was 21. So imagine how back this story goes. So I was in the office pitching my concept to this app company who took money off me, basically did me over as a young kid. And I met this guy called Luke, and I watched him draw up some designs on a whiteboard, and I looked at him and I was like, wow, this kid's got something. He's not just a designer, he understands product flows, how to funnel users into an experience and stuff like this. And I looked at him and I remember going up to him and shaking his hand and said, this isn't a joke, whether you believe it or not. I said, one day we're going to make millions together, you know, because I knew that I had good concepts and this guy was very talented. And it might have been a joke, not who knows, I was young, and we laughed about it and we kept in touch, and he ended up branding my store, everything, the whole brand. He ended up designing the interior of my store down to the last tile, everything. He's a multi-talented designer that can do different industries. And I met then his business. He then left that company, started his own design business. He built a team, and then we met up again 4 years later. And I said, right, I want you to lock in with me now and become a part of my company. I'll have the ideas, you do the design. And we formed our partnership all those years ago. And he did my shop. And then when COVID hit, I had two ideas, one for a charity, which is a really long-term thing that me and my business partner are doing, for not for money, just for something that we want to do, and Planet X. And that was it. You know, that's where the team started. And we sat there and said, right, we want to build this game. And because I've been in tech for so long and met so many people throughout my 9 years of entrepreneurship, we had the right people around us to start pulling together a team. And that's where we started to pull developers from, you know, big gaming companies, etc.
Wow, I was just talking to myself, I was muted. That is crazy. So in terms of the concept of the game, can you walk us through that?
Yeah, 100%. So for those of you in the space who game, I'm a really big casual gamer. I don't drink. I actually don't drink, not just saying that. I don't drink. So gaming is really my enjoyment, where I de-stress, you know, forget work, and get into it. So I play a lot of first-person shooters. So Call of Duty, Valorant, Apex, those kinds of games. I like hyper-competitive games. It's how my brain works. I don't like slow-paced games, just super fast-paced, where you can scream at people down the mic across the world. You know how it is, that gaming culture. And I was playing this game. So lockdown happened. So ages ago now, this was the first month of lockdown, and the whole world jumped onto Warzone, the Danks, for those of you that game, and I'm sure a lot of you in the space know it. And we won quite a lot. We're not pro gamers, we're not really good, but we would win now and again. Every 10 games we might win a couple. So we were good, And every time we won, we'd get to the end of it and I'd be like, I want more. I want to win something. I want this to be more competitive. Maybe it's my nature of just wanting to win and destroy and everything, So I was sitting there, and that's when it hit me. This idea hit me. I didn't think of it. It actually just hit me in the face. And I was like, okay, cool. If you took the best of all these battle royales, but you were actually taking all that enjoyment into an experience, you could win something, what would that look like? So the vision was simple. Well, it's not simple at all to build something like this, but the basic, the concept was simple. A global competition that anybody could tune into wherever they are in the world. It doesn't matter about their background. It doesn't matter about what they do. It doesn't matter how much money they earn. You can tune into this digital experience and you can compete for real world value. So actual prizes, life-changing money, and there it was born, a global treasure hunt. So how the game works is simple. Every day there are hunts which start at specific times. So let's just say it's 6 p.m. every day. So let's say there's a hunt this Saturday at 6 p.m. and everyone in this space wants to join it. It would start at a specific time and we'd all join at 6 p.m. So all of us would join this virtual map. Imagine Fortnite. It's very inspired by Avatar, very purple and blue. And it would tell how many treasure chests there are to find. So there could be 10, there could be 50, there could be 80, there could be 100. You don't know until you join the hunt. And what you do is you run around and compete for these treasure chests. So let's say Yobs is running around, there's 100 and he finds one. He instantly wins the prize inside and the counter drops from 100 to 99. So it's a live gaming experience. So as people are competing around the world, it'd be like Sophie from Miami's found one, Ben from LA's found one. So it'll actually pop up on screen. Every time someone finds it, your phone vibrates. It's all about the adrenaline. But where it gets really competitive is when you find a treasure chest and out pops, say, a PlayStation or the latest Nike trainer or Coachella tickets, whatever it is, you have to get it to extraction. So imagine the excitement of sitting there on your phone, sitting on your sofa in your pajamas at 8 at night, and bang, you find this prize and you're like, oh my God, I won. You've then got 3 minutes to get to extraction or whatever the timer is at the time. And if Yobs comes over the hills and shoots you, he can actually steal your prize. You imagine the excitement from winning, and then he shoots you in the face and you drop your iPhone or whatever the prize is. And he's then screaming down the phone like, oh my God, I've got the iPhone. And then someone kills him. So it's all about this battle treasure hunt experience where it's like 15, 20 minutes of exhilarating gaming fun. And it's so competitive where like if you die, you're out for good. So it's a real competition. You could be pumped for this hunt all week. You could be like, Yobs, there's 100 pairs of, VIP tickets to Coachella. You could be absolutely pumped. I come over the hill and shoot you and you're dead straight out. Forget it. Play again tomorrow. So that was the concept. And then I realized no one had done this before. These battle royale games have only been famous for like 5 years now, like Fortnite. So this whole model hadn't really been done in my experience. And then I realized I had a great idea, pulled a team together. We've got 33 staff now. So yeah, that was it.
There's just so much to ask about this. But for one, I'm going to let you go first.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, so I think we spoke about this before, but you kind of made the game initially for like a Web 2 kind of audience, and then you've kind of adapted it from Web 2 into Web 3 and kind of weaved that in. Like, can you speak about that a little bit and like what made you think that? Like, what was it? Was it you entering NFTs to realize like, oh wow, this is like a perfect kind of way to integrate both these worlds?
Yeah, 100%. So, everyone in here, you see spaces being hosted about Web3 gaming. You'll all see it. And the biggest problem with Web3 gaming, it's not Web3 gaming, it's gaming. So there is no such thing as a Web2 or Web3 game. It's gaming. Whatever technology you use is irrelevant. It's a game. So this space pushes too much on the fact that it's a Web3 game instead of it's a game that uses Web3 technology. So what happened with us is originally this was a Web2 game when I initially raised the money and put the team together. But I was in LA actually by the pool. My friend said, "Oh, you need to get into NFTs." And I was like, nah, I was like, forget it. And I remember I got a funny story actually about this. My shop manager, who, gets a standard UK salary, was going on at me about get into NFTs, get into NFTs. There's this crazy bull market, get into NFT. And he was like, and I paid him 27,000 a year. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, you need to get into this." And I ignored him. I was so busy building the game. I ignored him and missed the bag. Like, I absolutely missed it. So I ignored him. And then I found out he made $60,000 in like 4 months selling NFTs in the shop when customers weren't in, flipping them, Solana NFTs. And honestly, he showed this to me. I just ignored the whole thing. I ignored the whole thing. I was like, forget it. I was like, why are people buying this? Like that whole, you know what it's like. And I then got invited to an Alien Friends space. This guy hosts it. I forgot his name and I shouldn't because it's called King Combat. King Combat, really nice dude. He hosts this Alien Friends space. And I got invited to a space. And I remember listening in my first space and I was like hearing all these individuals hype up these JPEGs. Yeah. And this is someone that hadn't fallen down the Web3 hole yet, the rabbit hole. And I was really trying to understand it. And then something hit me flat in the face. Two things really hit me. Number one, how amazing that you can start up a business and have a community that builds with you, because this does not happen in Web2. You do not speak to your customers, build personal relationships, get feedback, can put that into the product. Like, I know a few people that shop in my shop, like high-end clients that, have become friends, but you don't know your customers that well. And that's the same with most Web2 businesses, you don't. And that hit me flat in the face. I was like, wow, I've never seen anything like this. And there was like 500 people in this Alien Friends space, like hyped about Alien Friends. And I was like, wow. I think Gary Vee bought one at the time. He bought a few Alien Friends, the floor pumps and stuff like this. So I recognized this. I was like, wow, this is a great marketing arm. But then what really hit me is I've got a cousin who's 9 years old. And whenever it comes to his birthday, I ring up my auntie and say, what does he want? Does he want footballs, football kits, you name it, like I would have at 9? And he's not interested. Just plays Fortnite or Roblox. That's all he plays, Fortnite and Roblox. And whenever I go around the house, James, play Roblox with me. And Roblox is boring, by the way. Like if you are over 10 years old, it is painful to play Roblox, okay? So even though it IPO'd once, it was like £70 billion company. So you can't hate, very, very good. So it hit me that all he wanted was digital things. So I put 1 and 2 together, like, digital assets for kids. They're already buying them in Fortnite. Just because it's not an NFT, they're buying digital assets, yeah? They're buying stuff that they want, that's theirs. They show off to their friends. So I was like, wow, Web3 is the future. And I fell down the rabbit hole, like, properly. Like, started buying NFTs, bought a CloneX at its high, like 25 grand at the time, like absolutely tanked 80% or something crazy. And I got into it. I bought my first NFT, and then I bought an Alien Friends with an ice cream cone on its head and stuff like this. And I was like, wow, I want to bring Web3 into my product. So I looked at the game. I was like, where can we bring Web3 to enhance the product? Not to be the whole product. How can we enhance with the technology to make this a better experience for the end user, which is how all games should be. That's how they should be thinking. So that's when I jumped into Web3 and, came up with a collection. We can get into that in a second, what it does, etc. But that was the journey into Web3.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting because, like, one of my favorite things about this is that, the game is already built and it's built for like an audience that is outside of our little like NFT village, which like I think a lot of the games that are being developed now, they're like so focused on like our little tiny community and like, the culture around our community. But like this is the difference with Planet X, is that, anyone can play it and it's appealing to anyone, but it still like kind of hides that NFT technology, which is like what we want in this industry, right? Is like we want to get into the mainstream and we want people to not even realize that they're, you know, dealing with NFTs and stuff. So I think it's like the perfect combination.
That's 100%, and that's why I listen to Web3 spaces and people are like, what do we need to do? What do we need to do? And I listen to it and it's painful. It's like you build a game that people love. And of course, if they know that they can own something within that game because it brings them value, of course they're going to buy it because it brings them value inside a product. So when I actually listen to all these big Web3 spaces, I don't jump on stage, but I'm like, you guys are crazy. You're talking about the same things. And all it takes is a real game that people love. Then you offer something inside that is got the underlying NFT technology, and of course someone's going to buy that. I buy that. I own it. It's mine. I can resell it. I can make money of it, or I can use it in game. Of course, people are going to do that because they do it now. I spend $50 a month. Don't laugh. You're probably all going to laugh. I spend $50 a month on Warzone, you know, and I get destroyed by my girlfriend. She laughs at me and says, "What are you doing, you idiot?" And like whenever a new skin comes out, I'm the first person to buy it. You know, I'm rocking that rabbit costume on Easter. I'm that guy, you know, so it happens now. So obviously digital ownership within products will be massive, massive.
I approve. I approve. Buy as many skins as you want. You have my thumbs up of approval. But let's talk about, how does blockchain play a part in this? And is it pay to win?
Oh, question. Good question. Of course not. No. So, first things first, the game is free to play. So, I'm going for mass market treasure hunt. And the main revenue sources are microtransactions and brand advertising revenue. And so this is something Fawn's very passionate about, and we can come on to. So, traditionally, a very well proven business model at scale that all the top multi-billion-pound franchises use. These games like Call of Duty are making 5-6 million a day from microtransactions. That much they could give away a house every day if they wanted to. So traditionally, this is how we make money. However, the Web3 arm is where it gets really exciting. So one thing I wanted to focus on, and as a founder, watching it go from bull to bear to fraud to crypto, you know the whole cycle of what's going on. I was like, whatever I put out, I do not want to put out unless I would mint it and I could see how it could, go up in value or be a valuable asset to the player. So that's how we came up with our Web3 collection. So we are minting 10,000 X-Droids. This is the Web3 arm, and they are the main character IP. And what's interesting is we have the game and the character IP. So instantly you can obviously make your character IP worth something due to the game. But there's two main utilities. First things first, if you own an X-Droid, you get access to something called extreme hunts. And I know Yob's going to be in them with his double guns. So basically, the biggest hunts on Planet X are only for holders. So if you own an X-Droid, you get to enter these extreme hunts, which normal players don't get to play in. And the prize pool starts at $10,000 a month immediately from our first mint. So there'll be hunts where a whole community will be competing for, life-changing money. However, how that prize pool grows is really clever. So every 10,000 players our normal game grows, we increase the prize pool by $1,000. So as this game scales around the world and kids are playing, college kids and people are playing, we increase that prize pool. And to give you some numbers, if we grew to even 1% the size of Fortnite, just 1%, you'd be competing in the community for over $250,000 in a month. So people will be changing their lives in treasure chests, 50 grand treasure chests, 10 grand treasure chests, which is crazy. And I'm going to support that statement again. You might sit in the space and say, oh, but 1% of Fortnite is massive. It's not, because a global treasure hunt is appealing to young kids, adults, mums and dads, everybody, due to the concept being a treasure hunt. Fortnite is very specific for a certain audience of players. So when we've been sitting with venture capitalists and people in the space, they're like, your product has a much wider scope to grab way more players. Like people that play the lottery, even 80 million a week play in the UK alone, just the lottery. So that's the first thing, the utility, access to extreme hunts. The second thing is if you do not like to game or you can't make the hunt because you're busy, life's taking over, you can actually rent out your space to a normal player. So as all these players around the world are playing these games, I could come to Yobs. Yobs busy, can't play in the hunt on Saturday. So I say to Yobs as a non-holder, I want to have access to that hunt where there's $15,000. And Yobs goes, okay, cool. That's zero point 0.1 ETH for entry this Saturday. So you as a holder can pick how much you rent your space out to normal players. So if you have 2 or 3 Xdroids, you can choose how much you rent them out for on each hunt. So they're the 2 main utilities. I'm not going to go into the smaller ones. You can check those out on the website, but they're the 2 primary ones which allow that to become a valuable asset, because it's very simple. The more players we get, the more valuable the asset's going to become.
This is such a fascinating concept. And by the way, the website is beautiful. I went on it, the whole scrolly thing where things pop out of nowhere. I really love it. It's so clean. Well done on that. But can you maybe describe the art style or like the visual direction of the game and how it like contributes to the overall atmosphere of like the gameplay?
Yeah, for sure. Good question. So it was inspired by Avatar. So it's very alien, very, very alien. You'll see the post that we put out today. I actually recently just did a post about an hour ago about all the different planets that the Xdroids come from. But the planet is very Avatar-y. But what's different between our game and something like Fortnite or Call of Duty is it's not just about other players you have to worry about. So this is where you're talking about how does it affect the gameplay. So whatever happens as a player, I want you to join this experience and it be super exciting, even if you don't win and your heart is pumping. So as you're running around Planet X, you're going to have to look out for environmental challenges as well as monsters on Planet X, like desert worms, different things like this, so that if they kill you, you're out the hunt. So if there's a $5,000 treasure hunt, you're actually running across the desert, alien desert, watching out for a worm to come out that can kill you. So every location on Planet X has been custom made to be a different experience. So in the desert, there'll be like a sandstorm. So visibility of other players is a lot worse if you get into a gunfight. So the whole of Planet X is like that.
Wait, did you say worms?
So inspired by June. Have you seen the film June?
Yes, the big
Yeah,
mouth, loads of teeth.
Yeah, that's coming for you on Planet X. That's coming for you.
No, I thought it was just like other people.
No. You have to be worried about. There's a lot. I'm not going to give too many surprises away, but there's a lot of monster AI within the game that can kill you and get you out the hunt, which is going to be highly frustrating, but it's going to bring a lot of adrenaline to the gameplay.
Yo, okay, I was not ready for that. My heart is pumping so hard. I was like, I'm gonna get a treasure at least once a week. I'm good. Let's talk about the character designs. I really love the droids that you've created. How did that idea come about?
Should we? Should I talk? I'm gonna tell. I told Jobs the story. Should we get into it? Should we get into the funny story about how the Xdroids come along? And this is a true story for every clone holder in this space. This is such a funny true story. So characters are the hardest thing to create for a game, and I'll explain why they're super difficult. Because if any of you in this space had the idea to create this treasure hunt, you want to create a character IP that works for all ages. Okay, that's a very difficult task. This was the most challenging thing we actually had making the game, because think about it. If you draw something that looks like Spider-Man, just for example, it could put off a 20-year-old woman or whatever it is, vice versa. But also you could make it look too old or too young. If the characters look too young, a 30-year-old guy might not want to play with it and vice versa. So it's the character IP and what it looks like is super important. So this took us the longest. So we're drawing up sketches, ideas, and it was frustrating, super frustrating. We couldn't get it. And for any of you that know design, me and Yobs talk about this, you've got something when you see it. It can be super disappointing that you go on and on and on and on, but then when you've got it, you've got it. And this, I was Googling references and stuff to inspire, because when you build anything, you have to give, a mood board, inspiration to your design team. And I was looking for day and night, Googling, and I ended up, you need to do robots because robots or droids can look super young. You could have a pink, young looking droid, or you could have a really aggressive looking droid. So robots work for all ages and have been proven throughout generations that robots work. Everyone likes a robot, yeah. So we went with robots, and then it was like, right, what do we want the robots to look like? So then you have to come up with your own style, and this is what takes ages. And I remember Googling before I knew anything about CloneX. Imagine this happened. And a CloneX popped up on Google, and I didn't know what CloneX was. I had no idea what CloneX was. And I looked at it and went, this is cool. This looks a bit humanoid. It could work for all ages. It could look, masculine, feminine, you name it. And I remember saying to my design partner, should we copy this or get something really close to this? Do you think the brand's very big? So I remember Googling, trying to see if CloneX was a legitimate brand and stuff like this. And I still didn't know who CloneX was, but I decided a week later, my lead artist, sent me an X-Droid, and I fell in love immediately. I was like, that's it. That's the one. And I just dropped the clone thing. And when I fell into the Web3 space, I obviously then saw CloneX, and I was like, wow, I could have been sued by Nike for making something very similar. So that is a true story, and how we got to the X-Droids, and then obviously created our collection, which has taken an insane amount of time.
Can I just say thank freaking fuck you didn't go for clones, because you'd be in big trouble, boy. Damn, that could have been a completely different story. But hey, clone robots, you guys are up, dudes. The floor's gonna go up on you guys. We also have Hados on stage. Hi, how's it going?
Hey, good South. Good morning, everybody.
Hey.
Just want to jump up and give huge props to you, mate. Huge challenge. Well, not a challenge, really. It's a huge achievement you're really going for here of creating a new gaming aspect to get everybody off that Call of Duty and Apex. It's become a habit of mine. But just touching on the whole robot idea, and would there be aspects of, say, vehicles within the game?
What? Yeah, 100%. So going back to our business model of vehicles, hoverboards, different guns, different spaceships, you can completely customize your gear that you take into a hunt. So it's very strategic because this is a global competition. You actually decide before you go into the hunt, how do I play? What's my playing style? What will give myself the best possible chance to win? And you decide as a player, everyone gets the same amount of slots, so it's 7, and you actually decide, what do I want to take in to help me. So that's completely up to you as a player. And there are buggies, there are things like this.
Yeah, no, awesome, because obviously you got the different lands there throughout the planet X, and obviously potentially hunting down the players is key.
100%. And there's actually a feature in the game called a solar storm, where there's a solar storm mid-hunt. So every few minutes there'll be a solar storm, and it actually locates an area of a hidden treasure chest on the map. And that's going to create everybody to run towards that one location for a big shootout to get it. So vehicles and things like that will come into play because you want to get there quickly and stuff like that. So there's different scenarios happen in the hunt that you would want certain items for, to try and give yourself the best chance.
No, that's awesome, mate. Thanking you heaps on touching on that, and huge props to yourself, mate, and keep on doing what you're doing. So I'm turning up every day just for your determination. It's quite awesome.
No, thank you so much. I see you around, so I appreciate it. You've been around a while, so thank you so much for jumping up.
Cute. We're probably going to go for about another 20 minutes if anybody wants to come up and ask any questions or, Spread the love. Please do. Yobs, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I actually had a question for you, James, on probably like the technical side of things, because we've spoken a little bit about like the game and stuff, and the plan obviously to bring like mass market and mass adoption and stuff like that. And obviously you want to do, I think it's like daily hunts, so there's like one hunt a day and things like that. But you know, obviously it's a mobile game, and of what's it called, like Fortnite, Call of Duty, like lobbies at the moment for like battle royales, you're probably only like touching maybe 100 or 150 max per lobby. So how do you plan on getting like 10,000 people or so into a hunt? Like, how does that work?
Great question. I'm surprised not many more people don't ask me that question. So that was the first thing. So how it works is simple. So there are 100 people in each lobby, but the lobbies are mirrored. So imagine 10,000 people turn up to a hunt. You'll get put into a lobby randomly of 100 people, but the treasure chests are in the same location on every map. So imagine it's like a mirror. So if you find a treasure chest in lobby 1,000, it'll remove it from the map for everybody. And because the experience goes to everybody's phones, it'll be Yobs has just found a treasure chest, and it just drops the counter to 99. So you'll get people that are finding chests that aren't in your lobby. And that means you can truly have a hunt with 1 million people competing for the same goal.
And that's actually pretty insane. What kind of like, I'm sorry if I'm going a bit technical because I'm quite interested in these kind of things, but what kind of challenges do you like face on a server side function? Like you must have to set up some crazy servers, no?
Yeah, so server infrastructure is the biggest issue. Take the game away from it. Server infrastructure is the biggest challenge and will be the biggest thing when you're scaling. So what you do as a brand and what we do is imagine we go into our open public beta. We will limit hunts to say 5,000 people. And as you monitor your servers and it works fine, then the next hunt you do 8,000 and then 10,000. So you scale up and you can really protect your brand, because let's say you have 50,000 people that want to play in a hunt. Instead of doing one hunt for 50,000 people, you just do 10 hunts for 5,000 people. So you're still supplying the customer base and the want for the game, but you're protecting your brand and the servers. And as we get bigger and bigger and bigger and put more money into infrastructure, we will obviously have more people play. I have a goal for 1 million people to be in a hunt to compete for £1 million. You know, that is in one chest. You know, I want to see that happen. And if it does become a global success, the game, that will happen. You know, lotteries, people win in America, £1 billion lotteries, aren't there? There's literally £1 billion lotteries in America where people win £1 billion, which is crazy. So I have that goal.
At the moment, the lotto here is 400 million, which is just mind blowing that one person could potentially win that.
Yeah, 100%. If I won it, don't worry, I'd put 100 million into Planet X.
You'd probably put 3/4 of that in Planet X, let's be honest.
You know me so well. I literally would.
And a quarter of it into dogs.
Yeah, literally. I would launch with $1 million chest. That'd be the first hunt, and there'd only be 20 players.
That is so funny. Before I pass it over to Brongis, I wanted to know, what kind of skills do you need as a player? Is it going to be a difficult game? Is it going to be fast-paced? How is it?
So we have a ranking system. So if you're a newbie, let's say your mum jumps in, because a lot of our mums and dads will jump in, sitting on the sofa with a coffee, ready to hunt. If you're a newbie, you get put into worse lobbies of your rank, because you don't just want to join a hunt with a pro gamer, because there'll be lots of pro gamers trying to win prizes. So you'll start off on smaller hunts, and as you get better, you can access hunts with bigger prizes. There's like progression within the game. But there are hunts where it's just like anyone can join, 10,000 spaces. The first person to grab a space gets into it. But day to day, there'll be lobbies of different ranks to actually take part in hunts, because we don't want you don't want a game where everyone has a negative experience. They just die within a minute every time, because it's really bad for growth and retention of the game. So we'll have smaller lobbies where you'll win stuff like pizzas. I'd still scream if I won a pizza. I'm screaming the house down if I win a McDonald's. So there's still going to be all of that. And yeah, so that's how we're going to do it.
That sounds awesome. I love a pizza. Brongius, hi, welcome on stage.
Hello everybody, how is it going?
Very well, thank you. What's your question?
Thanks for having me. No, I just wanted to spread love, I'm following this project since a bit of time, and I just wanted to say shout out to James and the whole team, and also to the Clone fam. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, thank you so much. I see you everywhere. I appreciate you, Mr. Italy. No, thank you so much. It's cliche to say, but what I truly love people being a part of a product so early. I think it's insane. I think it's beyond insane, and I think that people throw around the word community a lot when they have a failing project, because that's all they can go down to. But community really does matter if you've got a real product that works, and getting feedback and having that every day really matters to us and the team, and I think it's amazing. So I do appreciate you being here. I do notice you, so thank you so much.
James, let's talk about the audio elements of the game. So how important has the integration of sound and music been in the overall design of the game?
It's really difficult. It's really, really difficult in the sense that even, let's say I get into a gunfight with Yobs, the background music will lower, so all of these things, it's like making the perfect soup, everything you do, footsteps, how noisy is the footstep as you enter the desert versus you're about to throw a grenade or talk to your friend on the mic. So sound design is very, very complicated. Building a game is very hard. Everything is painful. I tell you that 7 days a week. I'm not even being, I'm not joking. It's very difficult, but it's very rewarding when you actually get it right. But you have to try over and over and over again because the sound might be slightly off. So it's a painful experience, and that's the truth. Building something like this is so painful, but it's so fruitful and so exciting when you see it work, that it's worth the pain. It's worth the stress and banging your head against the wall to have it right.
So impressive. I'm so excited to see this in action. Yes, Yobzi?
Yeah, just going on from that and listening to you talking about how what it takes to build your game and stuff like that. What I thought might be interesting to hear as well is how do you even go about beginning a process like that? Because I know you've already you've been in development for I don't know, a couple of years or something like that, invested a heavy amount, but how do you even go about beginning that process? What do you do? How do you raise, or what is it, and is there anything you do different now?
There's nothing I would do different. It's a process. We've been building for nearly 3 years now. I've got an amazing backroom partner, invested nearly $2.8 million, which is amazing. The process is difficult, but I would tell any of you in this room, if you are going to build something properly, and I mean properly, it can't be like a school project. I mean, if I didn't have an amazing designer, I would be nowhere. If I didn't have an amazing UI person in UX who knew apps and flows, I would be nowhere. And the biggest problem is with building any startup is most people are in the creative industry are average and not elite. And, and I don't mean that to disrespect people. I mean, there's average that gets the job done, and there's people that can actually properly get the job done and make it a success. And I could put out this concept and have a bad designer, a bad UI experience in the app, and it would fail. So the concept would fail, even as a concept like a global treasure hunt. If you did not have the right people and this looked bad, it was called, an awful name, there was bad characters, the concept would fail. So fundamentally, if you believe you have an amazing idea, you need amazing people. I mean, really good people around you. And I couldn't do this without amazing people around me. I mean, without my product designer and UI, I wouldn't be here. Without them, without me, they wouldn't be there. And without them, it's teamwork. You need team and you need amazing people. So one of the things that I always look out for is amazing people that are great building brands and are really special at what they do. And there is a difference. There really is a difference. I'm not talking down on a project like MV3 that has just rugged, which everyone knows about, but their branding is not elite. That's just a fact. So it's like they're not going global because their characters are too generic. So it's like one of the things I would say to everyone is have an amazing branding team and people that are better than you at things, way better than you at things. And I'm blessed that I've met people that are way better than me at a lot of things, and I couldn't do it without them.
Fawn, you had your hand up earlier. Did you want to say something?
I did. I wanted to ask, I mean, it's going back a little bit, but I wanted to ask about the voice thing, because I actually didn't realize that when you play in the game, you can hear other players. Is that right?
Well, you can hear your teammates. You can hear your teammates, obviously, you can talk. So like I could be like, Yobs, Fawn, you go to this side of Planet X. You can play together, actually. First things first, everyone in the space, you can play together. So if there's a hunt on Saturday, pull in 3 of your friends and you can play in a quad or a duo. And that's going to give you an advantage because I could land on Planet X with Yobs and Fawn, and on our headsets, I say, Yobs, you go to that side of Planet X. Fawn, you go over there. And if any of us find treasure, it splits between all of us, which is amazing. So you can't hear other players, you can hear each other, but also an amazing feature that isn't built yet. So even though we're in closed beta and you can see it on our Twitter and we've got players playing, is we want to do a feature that's never been done in gaming before called the reaction cam. Okay, so this is a very interesting concept. So on the phone, you've got a front-facing camera. When you play Call of Duty Warzone and you play, PC games and stuff like that, you generally don't have a camera. On PC you might, but you don't have cameras. So what we're doing is when you sign up, you can actually approve, yes, I want to go on reaction cam. So you click yes if you want it. We give you gems for that. So gems are used to buy items and stuff. So we actually reward you for turning that on for us. And whenever you find treasure or get killed, it will clip 5 seconds of your reaction. So you imagine someone in their bedroom finds a pizza or a PlayStation and they're screaming like, yeah, whatever it is, like I'm mad, like, Mom, I just won, whatever. The reactions are nuts. I'll be doing it. I'll be screaming. So it clips that. And also when you die, it clips it. So Yob shoots me and I throw my phone against the wall or scream or whatever, it clips it. And what that does is at the end of the game, it will show a collage of everyone's reactions in the hunt. So when the hunt is over, you can go, wow, look at all these people around the world, their emotions towards the game. And for marketing, obviously, imagine doing a reel on TikTok of the best 100 reactions, playing this game. So that is something we're bringing to the game, and it's never been done before.
Oh my god, that is hilarious. I told you, James, I'm not very photogenic. Do I have the option to turn that off?
No, you're not getting any gems or anything.
No.
What good marketing is that? Oh, here's somebody that's camera shy and it's just a fuzz. Forget it.
Can we use a filter, maybe, like my clone?
You're on a clone. It's all about capturing the raw emotion. So if it becomes so good that clones, capture all the reaction, then yeah, we could do filters or something like that.
Yeah, once we get our eyebrows moving. James, can you give us like an overview of the game's storyline?
Yeah, okay. So the last tweet, I think it'd be good actually, because you've asked that. Pin the last tweet today about the planets, because that's literally about what I'm about to talk about. So we tweeted it earlier. So the storyline is simple. With any good game, you need a lore, obviously. Why is the game there? Why Planet X exists? So it's a really funny story. I like to reference Saudi Arabia and oil, and that will make sense during a minute. So on Planet X, there was a race called the Xylons, and they were really wealthy, really peaceful race, bit of alpha. There will be one Xylon and one of the evil alien race that attacks them in the collection. So you won't get an Extroid. There'll actually be a one-off of the Xylons for the storyline. They're really wealthy because they built amazing technology because they mined something called blue elixir. So blue as elixir powers everything in the universe. So imagine a very magical liquid, and they sell it to all the other aliens, all the planets, and they become really wealthy. So like Saudi Arabia and oil, very, very wealthy. Everybody knows across the universe, Planet X. They've got all the big spaceships. They're balling out, really wealthy alien race. And one day, an evil alien race goes, right, we want to start a war. We want to steal their wealth. But Xylons are really peaceful, remember? So this war breaks out. They come to Planet X, they attack them, and the Xylons have to evacuate, or their whole alien race will be wiped out for good. During evacuation, there was a solar storm, and a lot of their motherships got smashed up. And every day now, from the solar storms, the treasures fall down to Planet X. And this story got out across the universe about the war and all the treasures falling down to Planet X. So all of the alien races created a droid, an X-droid, because Planet X is too harsh for them to land on. So all of these alien races, there's 9 different planets from 3 different galaxies, all created a different vision of their X-droid. And that's why all these X-droids every day go to Planet X and battle it out for the hidden treasure on Planet X.
Wow, and is this story going to be developing throughout, the different stages of the game?
100%. And when you actually mint, you part of your metadata will say what planet you're from. So like from the tweet today, what planet, what galaxy, and what mothership you are assigned to. And this is actually going to become a really interesting concept of Planet X, where let's say 10% of your holders are on mothership 1, just for example. Whatever mothership wins the most prizes within the month is going to get a percentage of our royalties as a company to that mothership. So I haven't ever spoken about that and it hasn't come out, but imagine it will then become mothership wars. So I could be chilling, not on the game much, and I could go, right, I want to get this Extroid from this mothership because they're winning. So it's a concept that we're going to release soon, how it works, but it's going to be very interesting, which means your metadata and your stats within the mothership are going to matter.
Bloody hell, James, you're giving everything away. I have so many more questions, but we're running out of time. If you guys have any last questions, please put your hands up. But James, I want to know, how come you chose a mobile gaming rather than the other platforms that are available at the moment?
Purely due to the concept that wouldn't work on console and PC, because it's all about, one of the things we're going to really focus on is spontaneous hunts. So picture everyone walking around, getting on with their day. You're at the park walking the dog, somebody's on the beach, someone's at work, and then you get a push notification saying the hunt is on. The first one to find this treasure chest wins $5,000. And when you really sit back and think about that concept of what I've just said, it's never been done. I sat with the guy that launched League of Legends, who was the ex-CEO of Riot Games, and he loves this concept. And he said that one element about the product, spontaneous hunts, where people can tune in and win. They'll be running to the toilet at work and tuning in for 10 minutes competing for this chest. That experience of gaming could not be done through console and PC, where you have to sit down.
1,000,000,000%. The only other example that I can think of is Pokemon Go, but it was not rewarding at all, and you had to go all the way to your nearest gym that was, the timer was going down, and if you missed it, you missed it. So the fact that I get to be comfortable in my own home and I get to do this, it's quite epic. Haydos, hi.
Hello again. Hello. Just one last question on the whole gaming aspects of it, and once we obviously lock down Planet X and get some progression behind the droids and all the rest of it, is there potential for, say, collaboration with other projects and maybe getting them in the game as a character? Say your RFT, get that running around as a potential character in the game.
So, very good question. When it comes to collaborations, yes, we're already doing them behind the scenes, because branded hunts and community hunts will be a massive vertical of Planet X. You imagine whether you're a micro brand or a macro brand, you can do your own hunts for your own community. You know, see what Nike just did with Fortnite. Okay, so these top brands are going for experiences like this. So imagine a Nike hunt, and they're giving away 1,000 vouchers for Nike.com. So this will be a big vertical we're focusing on. However, in the community side of it for NFTs, 100% communities will be allowed to do their own hunts, and you're going to see quite a few of them coming out where it's only for their holders. There's rare NFTs sitting in treasure chests for their holders. It's nothing to do with normal players. They set it up themselves. They brand it how they want. So it's a great experience, but we will not allow other communities to have their characters in game. And I stand by this very strongly, because when you build a real brand and real character IP, you have to protect your own IP within your brand. So when you talk about an open metaverse, that's great for someone like Fortnite, who have become the kings of letting all these brands in Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk, and everything. And no one will do what Fortnite's doing with all these brands again, unless there is really the open metaverse like Ready Player One. So if we dilute our brand and suddenly there's a clone running around or there's a Bored Ape running around, Planet X will lose its identity, and the brand IP will be a lot weaker, because then you can't go on to, you know, TV series or movies and stuff like that, because it's just a random experience with all these characters running around, and it will devalue you as a holder of an Xdroid. It will massively devalue it. So we will never let another character in the game. But we have one little secret thing coming, but it will never happen again. It will never happen again. But apart from that, no.
No, that's awesome, because obviously we've all seen a couple of the visuals on the guns and stuff, and that's pretty awesome. And that's just a good feature on its own.
So stuff like that, we will definitely allow communities to have their own in-app skins. So you could have, you know, a gun that's wrapped with Bored Ape or clone, or a backpack that's got the clone on it. Like, we're all for that. And we can even do revenue shares with people. So, you know, Clone could come to us one day if we get to where we want to get, and they say, right, we want a CloneX gun. You know, we can easily they could have it as a gun in the game as a microtransaction, and we could do a revenue share, and then all the clones are running around with a clone gun, which is sick. So we can definitely do stuff like that, and I'm super open for that with any community that wants to do it.
No, that's awesome. Thank you much. So I'll be looking at getting my ape definitely put on a gun. So that's awesome. Thank you much.
No, pleasure.
I have completely blanked on what I was going to ask you.
X great. X great. X great.
No, not yet. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. What do people need in order to be able to get involved in the next hunt that's coming up, and when is that going to be?
So we're in closed beta, so you can see by our Twitter page we actually have people playing within our community. So we're letting people in on a slow process, because we're very much working with like 20 people. But if you really want to come in and you're active within the community, I'm open to letting more people come in the product. So I have no problem with that. Actual first public hunts isn't a long way away, 3-4 weeks, actual letting real other people come in and experience the game and stuff like that. So not long at all. As I said, we've been building for a very long time. So the product's already being played.
Amazing. Okay, so I guess we can end it here, unless Fawn, Yobs, you guys got anything else? Brongis, Hados, you got your hand up, but I think you just forgot to put it down. Yeah, I think so. He's clocked out. James, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on, and I'll be honest, I still have a list of questions, so maybe later down the line, once the game is super duper poppin' and you're ridiculously busy, maybe we can borrow you again. You down?
100%. I'm 100% down for the clones, and you know that because of X Great.
Oh my god. Okay. Do you want to leave us with some final words, James? How about you're allowed if you start with some inspirational stuff, and then you can end it with whatever you want to end it with. So cheeky.
Yeah. Look, thank you everybody that came. Clones were I've got a big heart, big place in my heart because it was the first project I jumped into properly, and you know I am very much behind Clone because Nike do not lose. I keep saying that to everyone. Nike do not lose. Clone are not going to lose. They're going to be a humongous brand. They are the leaders of digital fashion, and they're going to be insane. So I've thanked all the clones. I have good relationships with a few, but I'd like more with more of you. So that's the first thing. And watch Air by Nike if you've never watched it. And you should if you're a clone holder, because you'll see how they do not lose and will never lose. And yeah, thank you for letting me share. I think, you know, Web3 needs some really amazing projects to pull through now. I really do think the space needs it. Because we've seen what's gone on. So I hope to be one of those bright lights for everybody and really showing you value before we've even minted. You know, our product's fully built and you can kind of see our story through our Twitter. So yeah, thank you for letting me share and thank you for inviting me here. You know, I really appreciate that you took the time out to have me on stage.
Of course, thank you so much. So you want to tell us what's going on?
Yeah, right. So for every clone in the space, and sorry if you are not a clone, I do have something else cooking. Something is about to drop with a very talented Ali, which you all know, who drops a lot of videos. And we have created something amazing for clones. And I mean amazing. You guys are going to go wild for it. Fawn knows about it. And I truly mean this. It's going to be great value to you and nothing you're spending anything on. But it is happening ASAP. And I promise, standing here, if you are not one of the 100 people, because it's only going to be 100 clones, you're going to say, I wish I listened to James in that space, because the value of what we're about to give you, like everyone on this stage who's with me right now is going to be grabbing what I'm talking about, and it's happening immediately. So it's going to be 100 clones, first come, first serve basis. So if you've liked what you've heard today, get ready for the first X crate we are dropping.
Shit. Before we leave, I also wanted to say congratulations to James for picking up the beautiful Fawn as are you a community manager? What's your title?
Community relations, technically, but similar to
Top, what are you on about? It's top G. What are you on about? Why are you lying? It's top G.
Well, regardless of what your title is, the fact that you have picked up such a bubbly, kind, warm-hearted person, you're winning. I'm so happy to see it. If I'm honest, I'm proud of this. You know, this what the fuck is the word? This combination, this magic that is being created. I love you all so much. Thank you for joining us on today's Spaces. We're back again next week. I will tell you that it is going to be Tropics, and he's releasing his first song in like 2 years. So don't miss it. It's going to be a metaverse experience as well. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're doing, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, Yobs. Bye, Fawn. Bye, James. And Haydos, Brongus, thank you guys for coming up to speak, and Florian as well. All right. See you guys later.
Bye.
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 I love to ramble.
turn off your notifications.